Hi guys, welcome to this video looking at how to investigate and compare the combustion of alcohols. Now you may be given up to 5 alcohols, including methanol, ethanol, propanol, butanol and pentanol, and then be asked how to find out the temperature rise per gram. So let's have a look at how to do that. Step 1, what you need to do is measure out the mass of your spirit burner and lid, which will contain your first alcohol. For example, here you can see that my methanol has a starting mass of 157.256 grams. Make sure you record this down in a table for later. Step 2, measure out 100 centimeters cubed of water using a measuring cylinder and add it to your conical flask. Once you've done this, record the temperature using a thermometer. On to step 3, light your wick and then heat the water, increasing the temperature by 20 degrees C. So if you recorded 19 degrees C, heat it up to 39 degrees C and so on. As soon as you've increased the temperature by 20 degrees, extinguish your flame by putting the cap back on the spirit burner, stopping any more fuel from being lost. Now you've done that, for step 4 you need to remeasure the mass of your spirit burner and the lid. You need to record this and then subtract it from the initial mass of the burner and lid, and then this will give you your change in mass, which is the mass of methanol used to raise the temperature by 20 degrees C. And then finally, step 5, you need to repeat these steps with all of your other alcohols, and if you have time, repeat each alcohol. By repeating, you get to remove any anomalies, any results that don't fit the pattern. Okay, now that we have the results, it's time to analyse them. If you look at my table of results here, you can see the change in mass for each of my 5 alcohols, as well as the chain length of them. I haven't added the temperature into this table because each time it's gone up by 20 degrees C. What we can do now is work out the temperature rise for every gram used. To do this, we divide the change in temperature by the change in mass. The change in temperature is 20 degrees C every single time. So for methanol, I divide 20 degrees by my 0.634 grams, giving me a temperature rise of 31.55 degrees C per gram. Ethanol gives me a temperature rise of 49.14 degrees C per gram. Propanol gives me 57.97 degrees C per gram. Butanol is 70.92 degrees C per gram. And finally, pentanol gives me a temperature rise of 81.30 degrees C per gram. Now hopefully you can see that as the chain length increases, so does the amount of energy given out for every 1 gram of your fuel that you burn, which is backed up by my graph on the right here. The next part of this video is going to have a look at the variables in the investigation. So if we start off with the independent variable, which is the thing that we changed in the investigation, that was the type of fuel, or more accurately, the chain length of the alcohol. The dependent variable, that's the thing that we recorded down, was the change in mass, so the mass of fuel used up. The control variables are the things that we kept the same, such as the temperature rise of 20 degrees C each time, the volume of water, which was 100 centimeters cubed every time. The distance between the wick and the conical flask should also have been kept the same each time as well. Then the other control variable that you should have is the same amount of insulation. In my investigation, there was no insulation, so the heat could have been lost through the lid as well as through the sides of the conical flask. We could add a lid and we could add insulation around the side to prevent this heat loss, but because we kept it the same each time, we can still say that this was a control. The final section of this video is looking at the risks in the investigation. So alcohols are highly flammable and they can cause burns to the skin. So to reduce the risk, make sure that you light the wick with a splint and keep the lab ventilated so you don't get any buildup of flammable vapours. Methanol is also a toxic chemical, so you should avoid contact with the skin. This can be done by wearing gloves, or if you do get anything on your skin, washing it off straight away. And that's everything you need to know for this investigation. So let's have a look at a couple of questions. I'd like you to pause the video, have a go at these 2 questions, and then we'll see how you've done in a few minutes. Okay, let's go through. If we start off with part 1 then. So how can we produce the results? You measure the mass of your spirit burner and lid. That's your first mark. Then you want to measure out 200 centimetres cubed of water using a measuring cylinder. Be nice and specific there, that's what we use to measure it out. Then we measure the temperature using a thermometer. We then light our wick and heat the water. We then extinguish the flame by putting the lid back on. And then we work out the change in temperature and change in mass. So there are 6 ways you could have got your 4 marks there. Any 4 of those gets you a mark each. Moving on to part 2. So we need to use calculations to explain which fuel produced the most energy per gram. So the key there is using calculations. If you don't use any calculations and just guess which one's the best one, you will not get any marks. So marking point 1, we need to work out both the change in mass and the change in temperature. So for fuel 1, it's 141.6, take away 140.5, which gives you a change in mass of 1.1 grams. Temperature-wise, it's 49 degrees to 19 degrees, so it's gone up by 30 degrees. For fuel 2, the change in mass is 135.3, take away 134.3, which gives me a change of 1 gram. And the temperature is from 49 to 21, so I've got a change of 28 degrees C. Your second marking point is to work out the temperature rise per gram for each fuel. So fuel 1, 30 degrees C divided by our change in mass, which is 1.1, which comes to 27.3 degrees C per gram. Fuel 2, 28 degrees C divided by our change in mass of 1 gram gives me 28.0 degrees C per gram. So for getting both of those, that is your second mark. And then finally, your conclusion. Now that you've done your calculations, you can say that fuel 2 is the best one because it produces the most energy per gram. And that brings this video to an end. I have got a couple of review questions for you, so have a go at them, leave your answers in the comments and I'll get back to you and let you know how you've done. Hi guys, hopefully you found the video useful. If you did, please click on like and please subscribe to my channel. If you've already done that, please share with your friends, share with your teachers, any way that's going to help me. I've also got a website with loads of videos that can help you, and there's also my latest video appearing on the screen now. Thanks for watching.